Shalom. I want to begin a lesson off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakah Kodash. Double blessings and honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth through the Spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Back here with another lesson through the Spirit. I want to talk about two articles that I came across. I haven't gotten to read them yet, so I will be reading those with you all. And Lord willing, if the Spirit allows, I'll pull out some precepts regarding what I'm reading, like I did last night. So, Lord willing, the lesson be edifying to those out there listening and watching. And without further ado, let's get into it. So I read, and both of these articles are going to be talking about basically diseases that's going on here in America. So, Tyler, this first one reads, second largest egg producer in U.S. confirms bird outbreak. Okay, and you see the word up there. That bird flizzle, man. That Larry Bird flizzle. So, one of the nation's top egg producers confirmed that one of his farms tested positive for cases of bird flizzle over the weekend, the company said. Rose Acres Farms, which claims to be the second largest egg producer in the United States, released a statement on Tuesday saying that it had detected cases of highly pathogenic avian influenza at Core Acre Egg Farms, Seymour, Indiana. So I said this in my camp lesson last week. They've also been forcing these farmers to euthanize, I believe, ducks and chickens and whatnot. So we're seeing an increase of this. They've been talking about this bird flizzle for ever since the summertime, really. Last summer, started to become more and more serious. They done developed a for it, you know what I'm saying, a jump shot for it. So, with farms across the U.S. testing positive for bird flu cases, the USDA predicts that egg prices will rise up to 20% this year due to a shortage of eggs. And that's going to increase, man. You know, we've already been in inflation. We've been in inflation for a minute now. I remember it was a report that I was watching maybe last week or earlier this week, that was saying that, like, last year, the price of things was going up like a certain percent every month. So from the time of January, things seemed high. But by the time December came, things were much higher than they were at the beginning of the year. And it's only going to become worse, you know. I believe I seen another article that was saying, like, the average the average minimum wage for the United States is around like $10, $11, and you would need like $20 to $25 in order to secure an average apartment, like a however big apartment, 2-bedroom, 1 bath, so forth, whatever. You would need to earn $20 to $25 an hour just to sustain that. So that's just wild. But those are the times that we're living in right now. Poultry found to be sick with avian flu need to be cold, and their eggs also need to be destroyed. So let me see. Long Island farm forced to, what I tell you? I haven't read this article. I have not read this article, man. I'm reading this live and on this as I'm doing this lesson. I did not read any of these articles prior, but I just said it, man. Long Island farm forced to euthanize more than 100,000 ducks after bird flizzle detected. We are working with the Indiana State Board of Animal Health and the state veterinarian on best practices to combat the risk of spreading AI, which is short for the avian influenza, to other birds. The Rose Acres Farms statement said, "We are continuing to monitor all of our facilities." And me personally, in real life, I've already started to see the effects of eggs, man. Eggs are a very, very important part of nutrition. Every time I go grocery shopping, and this only happens at Publix, all the eggs are gone. All of them. And I'm not over exaggerating when I say that. Literally, the section where they sell their eggs, there's no eggs on the shelves at all. So I have to go to a different store just to get my eggs now. Okay. Then on top of that, I noticed I bought a pack of eggs maybe a week ago. It was like around $6. I bought the same pack of eggs this past week. So I bought a pack of eggs 2 weeks ago. It was like $6. The following week, I bought another pack of eggs. It was like $7. So, hey, and we might even check into that video later, but yeah. Let me see. I lost where I was at. So like, we are working with the kind of read that. It explained that the risk of other birds, including migratory waterfowl, backyard poultry, and commercial poultry, is high. However, the risk to people remains low. So they're not saying that they don't think this is going to affect humans, but at the same time, deep down, not even deep down, but I'm pretty sure they've said this before, that these farmers are going to have to start, you know what I'm saying? Eventually, they're going to make the farmers take this stuff because they're going to say they're at the highest risk of catching it. The family-owned company also said the Indiana State Board of Animal Health is monitoring the current situation, while the United States Department of Agriculture is monitoring animal infections, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is monitoring human infections. So like, I meant to clear all this stuff out before I even started my lesson. Let me see if I can get something now. This is Matthew 24:7. For a nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. So having to recall all these things, but we seen an increase of that as well, recalling foods for different types of infection or contaminations that uh, they've came across. Um, that they've came across. Then on top of that, pestilences. So you have sicknesses. Pestilences don't always have to be sicknesses or plagues. Plagues can be anything that the Lord is sending upon the earth to cause death and destruction. So these pestilences or these sicknesses, diseases, can lead to famines, okay? Because if the animals are getting sick from this, then what does that mean? The food that they produce for humans It's gonna have to come off the shelves. Or, as they've been saying, they're gonna have to euthanize them. And if you're killing off these animals, then humans are not gonna have nothing to eat. Okay? That can lead to famines, food shortages, all types of things. And I'll get that other precept in a second, which y'all know what I'm going to. The family-owned company also said, yep, kind of read that as well. American Egg Board President and CEO Emily Metz said on Tuesday that the nation's egg farmers continue to fight against bird fluism. She said in her statement that the volume sales of eggs at retail value have been up year over year for 22 consecutive 4-week periods. So you also have to think these eggs are starting to increase more and more. Donald Nero Trump also just cut off federal funding and stuff like that. So EBT, SNAP, Section 8, and the list goes on. Grants and loans and stuff like that from the government, which more than likely it's most likely gonna be temporary. But you have people who are affected by or who rely on those things. So we said that months ago though. Like these people who completely rely on Section 8, welfare, food stamps, stuff like that. What are you gonna do when they take that away? Okay? What are you gonna do? And now you have those same people coming online crying and stuff like that. So if these prices keep on going up, right? They can't afford that shit. They can't afford it. So these prices keep going up. They can't afford it. What they gonna do? Hey, they're gonna have to starve, man, or they're gonna have to get it another way. That's another way it could lead to famine. So you gotta look at it at different angles. The current threat is impacted by two factors. The statement explained: avian flu showing up in dairy cattle and changes in migratory bird patterns due to extreme climate events. More, what third case of bird flu with unknown source of infection could mean in fight against disease. Bird flu or avian influenza has been detected in poultry and dairy cows in the U.S. There have also been a few human cases which have primarily been observed among poultry and dairy workers. Like I said, the farmers. They're going to be the first ones they're going to take that shit. Human cases have been diagnosed across the country since April 2024, while 67 confirmed in 10 states as of Monday, according to the CDC. Most human cases have been mild and patients fully recovered. One death has been reported, a Louisiana resident over the age of 65 who had underlying medical conditions. The CDC and other public health officials say there is currently no evidence of human-to-human transmission and the risk to the general public is low. So like I said that a while ago, though, I don't think that is necessarily going to be something that's going to affect humans that much. It's one of the weaker viruses, so to speak. So there's really no need to be worried about that as far as an outbreak among humans. But it affects the animals more than it affects the humans. So that can lead to famine. That's really the concern for that. The storehouses. This is 2 Ezra 6. Second Ezra 6 and verse 21. And the children of a year old shall speak with their voices. The women with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall give a sound which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. So them trumpets, and that time shall friends fight one another, one against another, like enemies. And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the mountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So that's talking about when them trumpets blow, you know that's when you have a shot coming back. Untimely kids, it's not a good time to have kids right around now, man. We're in the latter days, and the scriptures speak of you know what I'm saying, those who have them kids, they gonna end up eating them babies. So the storehouses are gonna be found empty, man. That's gonna come to pass. You see, these prices are continuing to go up. I've been seeing it, like I said, whenever I go in the Publix, all the eggs be gone, and that's gonna start to happen to other foods. So like, I was trying to think of my next precept. The lack of bread. I think that might be. Come on. This is 2nd Ezra 15, verse 18. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. Okay? Just like in the movies, when I like to give this example. Let's see. I Am Legend, which in that movie, Will Smith was more so by himself, but it came a point in time where when he would go outside, he would go to other wait, no, Salaki. I'll give this example because it's a more recent movie. Bird Box, right? They would when they would travel, they was going into, because that just popped up in my mind, a memorable moment from that movie. They would go and they would travel when they was trying to get to the river. The black dude Tom and then Sandra Bullock, when they was traveling, they're going to the different houses. They was looking for food and stuff like that on their journey, trying to get to that blind institution, right? And they came across Pop Tarts. They was like, man, I ain't had this in so long, right? But in this instance, this is when people are still gonna be alive. People are gonna be starving. They're gonna, they're not gonna, like it reads, they're not gonna have no regret for their princes. Their power shall stand in their hands. So people are gonna start, when shit's the fan, people are not gonna give a fuck no more. They're gonna run up in your crib and they'll do whatever they have to do because they haven't ate in a few days, in a week. You stocked up, you was prepared, okay? Or you might just have food just because. They're gonna come in there and they're gonna take it by force, man. Let me get that in the good news. This is verse 18. Because the struggle for power will bring destruction, terror, and total confusion wherever people live. Driven by famine and terrible suffering, people will assault their neighbors and mercilessly plunder their possessions. So that famine, hey, like my pop say, man, people are about to go on mass diets, forever diets. These people gonna be out here starving, man. Especially Jake. It's called Jacob's Trouble for a reason. All right, so I've gotten all the scriptures I want to pull out regarding that article. Let's move on to this one. It reads two dead, at least 146 infected as Kansas battles spreading tuberculosis outbreak. And another thing, they said that HMPV reached another country other than China, one of those European countries, I believe. I might talk about that in my camp lesson later, since I can't remember off the top of my head which country that was. I'll most likely talk about it in my camp lesson, Lord willing. But a tuberculosis outbreak, TB, in Kansas has deleted 2 people and caused at least 146 to become infected with the potentially deadly respiratory disease during one of the largest outbreaks in the nation's history. As of Friday, at least 67 cases of active TB were reported in Kansas, including 60 in Wyandotte County and 7 in Johnson County, the Kansas Department of Public Health announced. Wyandotte County includes KC, Kansas City, which is the county seat, while Johnson County is located directly south of the adjacent to Wyandotte County. TB is bacterium that usually affects the lungs but can affect other parts of the body as it has 2 types, active and inactive, according to the Kansas Department of Health and Environment. Active TB makes people feel sick and can spread to others, while inactive TB does not make people sick and does not spread to others. TB generally spreads while airborne when the infected person coughs, speaks, or sings, but it also can spread from one person to another through direct contact. Antibiotics can treat TB and stop the active variety of the disease from becoming infectious soon after initiating. Shalakia, Israel, for that. Seems like whenever you try and do a lesson, people want to blow your phone up. I received a phone call and it cut the lesson off. But I remember where I was at. So antibiotics can treat TB and stop active variety of the disease from becoming infectious soon after initiating antibiotics treatment. The breakout began in 2024 and claimed 2 lives. Kansas Health Department Communications Director Jill Bronaugh announced Tuesday. Bronaugh said at least 67 people in Kansas were undergoing treatment for active TB as of Friday, but those identified with inactive TB also are undergoing treatment. Leaving inactive cases of TB untreated could cause between 5 and 10% to develop active TB. University of Kansas Health System Director of Prevention and Control, Dr. Dana Hawkinson, said it's common to see some TB cases every year, but the current outbreak has greatly exceeded the normal numbers. That's why when I seen this and it said 2 were dead and 100 some were infected, that surprised me because that didn't seem normal. Most of the patients identified with TB during the current outbreak have not been especially ill, but soon have serious symptoms. And that makes me think of 2 Ezra 16. The Lord Yahweh sent the plagues, and who is he that may drive them away? Roughly paraphrase. The Kansas Health Department said the outbreak is the largest since the Center for Disease Control and Prevention started monitoring and tracking cases in the 1950s. And the other day, we all know that Trump urged the CDC to leave the WHO immediately, right? The CDC said that is false and cited a TB outbreak In Georgia, homeless shelters that infected more than 170 with active TB. And more than 400 with inactive TB from 2015 to 2017. More recently, 113 people were afflicted nationally with active TB in 2021 due to exposure to a bone graft product that infected 113 people after undergoing surgery. WHO in October announced more than 8 million people around the world were diagnosed with TB in 2023. Disease claimed the lives of 1.25 million, making it the world's deadliest disease after that CV, that CVID, that CVID. Briefly, was the deadliest during the global pandemic. Okay. So let me see if I can pull something else out before I close it off. Let me think. Pestilences and great mornings. That might be second answers. Actually, I should have brought out those who escaped the. I'm gonna pull this up. Second Ezra 15:49. But I should have brought whoever escapes the famine will be with the sword. Okay, will be met with the sword. This is Second Ezra, so I can, got a little excited. This is Second Ezra 15 and verse 48. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions thereof. Therefore saith the Most High Power, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. So that's what's coming to America, man. I should have read verse 48. So like, woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and have decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. It's talking about Babylon. In this verse 50, jumping down. And the glory of the power shall be dried up as flour, when the heat shall arise that is sent over thee. Okay? So, Lord willing, man, the downfall of this place comes soon, because ultimately we are tired of living in this society. Day by day, the misanthrope grows within us, and we just ready for something to happen over here. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to y'all out there listening and watching. I'm gonna close it off there. Call halal Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Habakkuk. Double blessings and honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. And until next time, I say Shalom Israel. Shalom.